Live on the YouTubes.
Are we on camera and everything?
Yeah. The legendary referee, the great Peter Hickmott, mate. How long have you been doing MMAing refereeing?
MMAing
refereeing. How long? Because you are the man.
Well, thank you, Mitch. I appreciate that.
I mean, my personal favourite was Mr. Sharp, but...
Yeah, he's mine too. Yes, John's a very good mate of mine, and had a great pleasure of working with John in many shows locally and with UFC.
So lead referee, I would pretty confident say lead referee in Australia. You have been for quite some time, at least up the top of experience-wise. When did you first referee your first fight?
Mate, I think it was about 2005.
Oh, just in the back of a car park, like
no. Yeah, well, there was actually, we did a show in a car park in Gatton once. It was a combined Thai boxing and MMA show at one of the pub car parks. But that was after I started. I think it was about 2005.
Why would you get into MMA refereeing? Because it is the hardest, most thankless job in the world.
When I was competing on the national circuit, I was in the likes of Kyle Noak and Hector Lombard.
Yeah.
So the incentive to not fight was very strong. And I remember my last fight that I ever had professionally was against a guy by the name of Clinton Joyce over in Western Australia. He retired me that night. Habby gave me a phone call and said, mate, I need a favour. I can't find a match for this guy. His name's Clinton Joyce.
Habby Heskey?
Habby Heskey, yep. And I said, yeah, righto, mate, no dramas. I'll come over. So he flew himself and a cornerman over there. I jumped on the scales, still dressed at about 89 kilos. Clinton cut down from about 100 and something to 92. And he was 6'4" and just absolutely ripped. And I looked him up and down, and I looked at Habby and I said, "You bastard." And anyway, so we went out there, and Larry Papadopoulos was the ref. I hit him with everything I had. He just shook his head and growled like a dog and belted me. And I just said, "Nah, that's enough. That'll do me."
How many fights did you have all up?
20.
Oof. And
very bad.
Any mixed disciplines?
Yeah, look, I did Thai boxing, did a couple of Thai boxing ones. Most of them are all MMA fights. My record wasn't anything flash, but as I've heard, records are for DJs. And as I say to the guys I've been teaching, is that, I went to officiating because I sucked as a fighter. But I found myself a good coach at that point and also a good official. So I just kept going down the official path.
Probably because when you started, there was 4 rules that you had to remember.
Yeah. And one of them was don't get killed. No, and looking, mate, I guess I've been probably blessed getting into the sport at this point in time when Australian MMA is really starting to bloom. I had the great opportunities to learn from people like Cameron Quinn, Ken Dunstan, those sort of guys as referees. So for me, they sort of set the path, lined the path up for us. We just had to follow it and go through from there. So it's been good for me. And where Australian MMA is now, with the current group of fighters that are coming through, it's a really good time to be with it.
What's been the absolute highlight of your career?
Lots. Obviously, refereeing UFC, that was a good one. I think probably if I were to pick any of them out, would be to I refereed Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah.
Against Dami Ramos. So that was, we're getting the wind up here.
2 minutes.
I was just checking my phone.
It feels so professional, like I've got a production manager. I'll be like 2 minutes.
Yeah, hurry up.
And it makes it feel like it's for me.
I got 3 minutes. So for me, that was probably the one fight. Weili Zhang in Beijing, ref Weili. But then probably the best thing is that I've had to ref a lot of the local Australian guys that are on the UFC, like Rob Whittaker, Volk. Those guys, just on the local scene, I've refereed them, and to see them get to where they've gotten to is a really good thing.
What's the biggest mistake you've ever made?
I always show it when I do coaching seminars with refereeing. There was it was an XFC in Brisbane, and I was too close.
Yeah.
But as I said to the guys when I teach you that, it'd be been a long day for me. There was, I think, something like 17 fights.
Like the fighter stopped, thought the fight was over type thing because you were too close? Yeah.
Because it was Nick and Matt, and Nick dropped Matt, and I was just that one step too close, and I'd stepped in and put the hand up, and Matt's looking up and going, what?
Matt who?
Matt Thompson.
Yep, and Nick.
Look, I can't think of his name. You'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Next FC, it's one of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, and I've gone like this, and I saw Matt, and I pulled the hand away.
Yeah.
And then, because I've touched Nick, he sort of stepped back and gone,
And you can't say keep going, can you? It's over.
No, I did.
Oh, cool.
Yep, fight on. Keep going.
That's cool.
And that was, and then for me, that was a real wake-up call. That's probably the biggest mistake I think
And
I've
finally,
made.
before I let you go, what do you wish more people knew about MMA refereeing?
It's hard. We don't get the standing 8 count opportunity to get the fighter back in the match. Once we've made the call, that's it. But we need to be making sure that we know we've made the right call at the right time. The hardest thing is making sure that we've given that fighter every opportunity to get back into that fight. But when we think the fight's done, the fight's done.
And is that the hardest thing sometimes? Is have you ever made a decision and gone, oh, that's probably wrong, but I've made the decision, I've got to stay strong?
Honestly, I'll say no. I've been probably lucky enough to do... Well, I've probably... No, not that I can remember, but I'm sure someone will prove me wrong. There'll be a fighter out there and go, you stopped doing what I should have done. Yes, I did. Sorry about that.
And what's the one thing with MMA refs you think if someone wants to get into the sport, what do they need to know, the mindset?
Mate, they just need to get involved. Get a course going, get some experience, get involved with shows like whatever you can find, local shows, get involved with it. There's heaps to do.
Well, mate, you're one of the best in the business, and I appreciate you sitting down and
Thank you,
now
mate.
go make the right call. You
Yeah.
don't want to jinx yourself now,
No,
because
should
then you'll
have
get
got
back
like
out
60
there.
seconds. See you, man.
You're the best, mate.